This is nuts. Check this out. So, the insight that opens up if you focus on and concentrate on the word suit and origins, like, in cards, you get like a flush, which is a full suit. Like you got like you have a suit in cards, which is like a full suit. The suit of armor obviously is made up of the separate parts. That's why it's a suit. It's a full set of armor. But the word's meant to be to follow or to pursue. It's meant to have like a romantic meaning mixed up with following a suit or following a objective. I think that's where they get the Lancelot mythology from as well, and Valentine. And also to sue, a suit, also to sue someone, a suit. But also the word for when you've got hew, to sew, you sew a suit and fasten the parts together. So to sew is very similar, and for the suit of armour to be assembled together, like you sew sleeves and pockets and parts on a suit, right? Assembled parts. Now the thing is, the French origin of suit is meant to be suit, and ironically, that matches the Welsh. So the French origins for suit that I found is same as the Welsh, which starts to make me think that a lot of this Welsh language and dictionary they've got seems to have a lot of French words and possibly Latin words in it as well. Whenever you look at the Welsh language, whenever I look at the Irish or Scots Gaelic, it always seems to make sense to lots of words that are in the English language, like we've borrowed them from the Gaelic. But when you get into Welsh language, no disrespect to Cambrian Chronicles, but it seems to be so much different. Why would it be so much different from the Scottish and Irish? It seems like it's a lot more diverse, the Welsh. Now, but one interesting thing here, let me just, I just want to try to see if I can get something. Now, this really, really did just blow my mind just now. This really did blow my mind earlier. Well, no, not earlier, just now. So, check this out. So when you get the Irish for suit is culaith, right? Culath. But if you go to the Scottish Gaelic, it's dice, 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 D-E-I-S-E, dice, dice. So like when you roll a dice. Now the thing with the dice is it's got a set of numbers. Each side of the dice has got a number on it, but the numbers all together are a set. They follow suit, like when you play cards, when you get like a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, they call it a flush, or you get a full suit. So it's like a set, like when you've got a jacket, shirt all matching and a hat for a whole suit, right? But the dice, this is, check this out, right? I'm just thinking of that game, the Moonstone Tavern, when there's like, so you've got a suit of armour. See what you make of this. So the whole basis of the Moonstone game is you've basically got a quest, right? And you got to be knight. Well, you're knights, and it's based around. It's kind of like a mythological mashup of Arthurian and kind of like ancient sites. But you go on a mission, on a quest, right? So really, you're pursuing, you're following a quest. So look, so this is the Dragon Dice game. So in that computer game, they've got the knight in armour. The actual knight in a suit of armour actually plays this dice game, right? And you roll the dice and you got to match the symbols. Like they've got moons on there. There's like, it's funny because there's just been an eclipse apparently this week, but I didn't go out to see it. I didn't actually know that there was going to be one. You got to match the moons, or there are actually there's three dragons on it, and there's some skulls as well. You match the skulls or match the dragons, so you get like a full set, a full suit. Now I don't know if the person who made this Moonstone game knew that or was aware of all these Scottish words and things like that. Like the word for a suit is dice. That's what we saw. So we looked at dice. So that's pretty crazy. Dice. That's Scottish Gaelic. That it doesn't even match the Irish either. Dice, suit. It's like a set. We use that for gambling. Like obviously you roll it and it's kind of like, you know, it's just chance. Oh yeah, the Chancery. Oh yeah, the Chancery. Freaking hell, the Chancery. I wonder why they call it Chancery the Chancery. The Chancery is a record office for public archives or those of ecclesiastical, legal or diplomatic proceedings, or capitalised a high court of equity in England and Wales with common law. All right, yeah. So this Chancery word's popped up the whole way through, you know, like when you're doing with petitioning the Star Chamber and Court of High Commission and the government, the Chancery. It's quite, so obviously when you roll a dice, right, you're taking a chance. You're trying a legal case to pursue. And on the dice, you've got all the numbers, right? You roll the numbers, like, and it's a suit. So, like, you know, you're trying to win, though. When you pursue a suit, you are following a cause to try to win, right? I wonder why they call it the Chancery, though. But that's what it's called. So there's a connection between a legal suit to follow a suit, but also you've got your knight with a suit of armour as well, pursuing a cause, or the villagers in hue and cry will take suit against an offender if one's been called out. And then you've also got your petition as well, you know? So to do with law, to go to court. We'll check out, we'll just hold on a minute. Let's have a little look to see what about chance. Cothrom. Sean's. A seance. Sean's. Oh, wow. I thought the word Sean meant something else, actually. Chance. Sean's. Chance. Sean's. Chance. Sean is Sean. I thought the word Sean meant something else, but I didn't know it was linked to chance. It claims that Sean comes from the Irish versions of the biblical Hebrew name Jonathan, anglicised as Sean and Sean. But what about I Lonig. So, when you start messing around with the word shine and shone like a light, then it also comes into sun. You start getting into sun. So you're getting into like Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit to do with shone. But the thing with shone, if you shine is to shine at the moment. Shone was in the past. It's a past tense. So if it's shone, then in the past tense, something did shine, but in the past tense, it shone. It did shine, but now it doesn't, right? Because that's like in the past tense, isn't it? Sean. I guess the word seance then. I wonder if seance is French, but I think seance, when you spell it and write it on paper, seance, it's almost like Sean, seance. And really a seance is meant to be kind of like, when everyone holds hands together and, like around the table. Oh yeah, you have a seance around the table, don't you? Like Knights of the Round Table. You have a seance around the table, almost like spiritual or whatever, spiritual session. A spiritual session is a seance. It was also shone, to shine or shone. But chance, the word chance in Irish Gaelic is Sean's. Chance, the Chancery, was some sort of kind of court or record. Chance, Sean's. To gamble or take a risk or to pursue something through a suit. Why am I starting to think of the Harlequin suit? It really starts to make me think about those writings of Strabo, when he's talking about the religious ceremonies of the Celts before the Roman invasions, when they all had, religious ceremonies and they paint their bodies bright colours, and I think that's connected to the chambers and tombs, temples. And in a way, those are featured in that Moonstone game. I think that's just absolutely astounding. The Chancery, Sean's. What happens if you go French? Oh, look. All right, well, that's what it is, chance. All right, costume. In French, a suit is costume. I didn't know the French word. I thought that I didn't know the French word was costume. A costume. Dice. So I'm completely and totally astounded. It's just like blowing my mind, really, that when you've got suit, like a suit of armour, it's like dice. And like in that game, they've got the knight playing dice, of all things, with his suit of armour and at the table, sat around the table. And you've got connections. His the Chancery. And you got like Knights of the Round Table, but he's actually at a square table, they're not a round table. I don't know if that guy just, was it chance that it happened? That, you see, the thing what blows my mind is like in around 1988, 89, when people were making these games, you couldn't sit here like this and type it in and get the Scottish Gaelic dictionary out. And I mean, or you didn't have these Facebook groups that, you just go to like ancient sites groups and it shows you all the different dolmens, long barrows, people are throwing photos up from all over the place. You've really got to go to, bookshops and go into specialist sections and start going through lots of books to find out about half of this stuff, And back then, there weren't as many books on it. And some of the classics that have come out of those eras are just, I mean, like that Moonstone game, all the ideas and inspiration that went into it. The mind boggles of whether it was chance, pure chance, or whether these people have been like researching and learning about stuff, like I'm doing now. But the internet was nothing like it is now. There weren't half as many websites up or informations or anything. You couldn't just pull up this and then flip between Welsh, Scottish Gaelic and so forth. Which, I mean, I'm someone who's always complaining about technology, but it's the way technology is used. I mean, when you've got this dictionary, like the Department of Innovation and Technology in the government, right? The Bill Gates has just given them a massive, funding or whatever, Michelle Donlan, and we're complaining. Like, I'm sat here now with this tablet illuminated in my hand, like using a dictionary, getting all the different words and languages and so forth. That's fine. But when you're going on YouTube and, they're flashing you with adverts and influencer stuff and it's really not nice and they're forcing you to do stuff you don't want to have to do just for profit and money and all the other distractions and all the political corruption in the government, we've all got signatures for petitions that, really should afford us referendums. And they're just a pure, it's a shame that really the technology, there's nothing actually wrong with technology other than if it's forced on you if you don't necessarily want it or not. I don't think, many people have said this before, it's not the technology, it's what you do with it that makes a difference. And all these fast food places and the bad influences and, people have been antisocial and blocking each other for no reason, and the facilitation of all these blocking buttons. And then Mark Zuckerberg's wanting to beckon in the metaverse with all these weird, odd caricatures and things. I think, the whole human basis of, this is fire, this burns, right? This is hot, don't touch it. The whole kind of like, when they're messing around with the polarity of things, like this is good, this is bad, right? You're supposed to want to pursue food because you're hungry, but when they start messing up the, all the sugar content, super ultra processed foods that they're talking about with certain amounts of designed sugars in, and it ends up putting weight on and sending you diabetic and all these things that are set up wrong. What they've done is the natural kind of chemical balance of everything, positive and negative polarity in every single thing, what attracts or repels. They've messed it all up. And people are pursuing things which are harmful. But also, these billionaires and rich people are pursuing, they're doing things that are harmful to other people, and they are not accountable for it or don't want to be. But yet you've got all the government, the protected characteristics, of the new Discrimination Act, race, religion, and so forth. But they just won't put in there, wealth. They won't put, class or wealth as a protected characteristic, because what they want to do is they don't want they want discrimination. They're protecting their right to discriminate between classes. and between wealth. Yet they're wanting to bang up homeless people and make it, instead of finding other solutions to it, they just want to make them criminals. All right, we'll stop them from doing this by saying if you do that, you're a criminal, rather than encouraging other behaviours or whatever. They just want to criminalise. Do they just throw legislation at it? Criminal, criminal, criminal. That's their answer to everything. Rather than if they threw as much money at it than what they threw laws at it, then everyone would be equal. One slight modification to some of these acts of law would make them criminal because they are financially discriminating against other humans. That's it. But these Tories, Michelle Donnellan, they're that obsessed with their technology and innovation centres that, what about the Department of Conscience? That would be something, wouldn't it? In 1688, the Bill of Rights, they made courts of conscience. Wouldn't it be great to have a government of conscience, right? Like a Department of Conscience, like William Orange. We'll knock up a couple of courts of conscience. Well, the government could do with a Department of Conscience to, make sure the government stops being corrupt. This is the thing. Councillors aren't meant to have a conscience. They're meant to be selfless. They're meant to act on the whatever at any given time, what the opinion of the people is, percentage-wise, on what the percentage of the people want or don't want in any given area. But if you do that, the government can't do its long-term plans on us all. But who's making these plans up? We don't vote for any of the plans. They're just, they reckon that we're voting for their party because of their plans, but every decision on the table is a fresh decision. I think most people think the government now have just hijacked, and it's their own little club. It's their own little gang. They're, investors, companies, businesses, we're in on it. Rishi Sunak, big business deals, global business deals, and no one else really. We're not worthy. Even Elon Musk said, only the wise should make decisions, right? But apparently our decisions have been made for us because these wisecracks actually designed all of the drive-thrus, put the planning permission through in the government, paid for it, we didn't pay for it, and then set up the little rodent ranchero so we'd all be running through them like a little rat maze. And then they've rigged it, they set it up, and then they pulled all the juries out of the court so we couldn't, in this court of civil requests, whoa, what's going on here? We didn't get to say what they're doing because they don't want working class poor people making any decisions. And we can't educate them, can we? No. We'll just teach them they're working class Luddites. Only Boris Johnson and David Cameron get educated at Oxford on the mysteries. The mysteries. David Cameron, the peer mysteries, but Johnson and Cameron will learn, they will be judged by their peers and their peers only, unless the, some newspaper goes after them or whatever. And then there'll be another suit with Prince Harry. So that's pretty of a mad conversation starting from suit. But that's pretty much it. There's a connection to suit and dice and the Chancery to pursue or to follow suit, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever. So... And what is the point in all that for the extent of this conversation is that, well, we're pursuing the right to petition and the origins of the legal basis in the framework of the system. And I got onto the hundreds courts and I got onto the hue and cry and I got a little bit more information in detail about the law around that and how it was working, which I didn't know before. And it kind of explains a little bit about responsibility of the community. If someone's got a grievance, the community is kind of responsible. And then you get the judgment of the peers. And then the whole village has got a certain amount of time to try and find and apprehend them or help. But this comes down to your petition as well when you've got a grievance and people sign it. to support it, but then you're following suit. So I think that the basis of the right to petition protection is that, it's meant to be suit of armour because you're following suit. You've had a grievance against whoever, the other party, whether that's a government or not, and then you're pursuing suit. And I think it's to do with, as there's that saying, in proportion to the harm. So, you can take action that is, acceptable or, deemed proportionate to what the harm was in order to, settle the grievance, I think that's the basis of it. And definitely the oath, I remember I typed oath in. Mona Lisa, oath. Why is it always different in Welsh? You would have thought the Scottish and Irish Gaelic would be the slightly different words or letters to the Welsh. Ew, Lew. Law, LAW. Sounds more like shoe, isn't it? Sounds more like shoe. We'll have to ask Cambrian Chronicles. It's definitely not law, that. Because law is LAW, not LLW. Sounds more like shoe. It's like a horseshoe, maybe. I don't know. Sermon. Almost someone like a sermon, isn't it? A sermon. Cement. Or sermons with a U. Sermon. Sounds similar, doesn't it? Cement. Cement. A mixture of compounds. Cement. Some rock to make solid, to make hard, or to fasten together. You could cement a suit together by an oath. You could cement together an oath with a suit. You fasten your suit together by an oath in law. Cement the oath together and the petition to follow suit or preach a sermon. But that's the thing. But when you petition the House of Lords, you petition the House of Lords by a prayer. When you petition the House of Lords, right, you petition the Lords by petition with a prayer. That was in the Appeal Jurisdiction Act. Several of them. Appeal to the House of Lords is by a petition accompanied by a prayer. You could I'll almost have a sermon for it. Well, it's like cement. And obviously that's by oath as well. Don't like pursuing a suit or like cementing it together. There are lots of interesting. I find this is like probably one of my favourite subjects, and I don't know. I know French. On toi quand tu sens que c'est 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. I can speak a little bit of French. Ask my way around, and turn left and right in months and days. But I've never been that much into language when it comes to just learning one entire language and fluently speaking it. But I'm more interested in when it comes to comparable. When you compare words and like the evolution of words from one culture to another, then I get interested in it, how it changes or did mean this or that, and what it means now and what it referred to then and what it's connected to, and how you talk. We use language and we aren't fully aware of what it means, but it has a deeper, wider meaning, or a particular meaning when we're talking about something that has a particular analogy and is a lot more significant and deeper meaning that people don't really, they only take it at face value, and that's the part of language that I'm interested in. What does it really mean, and where did it really come from, rather than just like, you know, memorizing a new language just enough to converse at face value with people. I mean, to learn to converse in Welsh just at face value, it gets you along in Wales if you need to ask your way around. But have you learned anything? Have you actually really learned anything about a deeper contemplative extrapolation of the origins of the language? But there's also people attribute and assign different meanings to language. You know, like they'll pervert the course of the language if they don't like a word, like naughty. You know, they'll make it mean bad. You know, or brigands in the wood. You know, thieves. Whereas, you know, the Brigantes were a tribe. You know, but then they get demoted to be thieves and brigands. You know, there's a perversion of language as well, which is also interesting. How it gets abused and perverting the course of language through history. That's also interesting as well, to correct the kind of like perversions. But then again, you know, this is what we're facing now with the government. The government are corrupt and not upholding the law. You know, they'd rather, you know, throw more technology at us and mislead us with bad habits and all manner of horrible maze-like rodent ranchero food franchises and developments that we don't want, that don't make people happy, that create and manufacture crime and poverty, and we get blamed for it. And the solution is for the powerful an excuse for more tech, more surveillance, more cameras, when we didn't need them or want them. Just because someone in central London wants to be able to press a button and see what every single person is doing in their home at any given time and track everyone's movement, just so they've got the peace of mind that they know exactly what's going on, where, when, every second, probably because they've got megalomania and paranoia, and, you know, they don't trust everyone else just to be getting on with life as normal. And, you know, what right, really... You know, the liberty of the city is no longer the liberty of the city now, with all these ridiculous charges and fines and fees and ULEZ and pay per mile. There is no liberty anymore. I don't think there ever was. You know, they sold it and framed it as the city is protecting you, therefore you're free. Right, as long as you abide by the laws. You know, the forest is wild and dangerous and savage with brigands, and there's no liberty there because you're at a constant threat of danger. That's what they were selling the liberty as, it seems like. Now it's quite the contrary with London and all these pay-per-mile ULEZ charges, this and that. There is no liberty. There is only a new web of control and manipulation and oppression, which they have manufactured and designed because they wanted to have power, authority, and financial control over everyone else. And the so-called education, where we didn't. It really is a nasty, horrible scheme from the start. You know, I hope Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gets in America, and, you know, I don't really know who else we've got at the moment. I don't see anyone in English politics, really, who is that serious about a completely different paradigm shift, or at least some kind of return to something that you can justifiably call liberty. Not liberty posing as, not oppression posing as liberty, that's for sure.